these other guys. But it's exhilarating, it's fun.
Otra vez, respira y suelta. Concentra, toca aquí. Entonces escuchamos de un lado y comparamos a otro lado.
We're giving her a lot of IV fluid really fast faster than we maybe would in a hospital to help perk her up, and because we're giving her some pretty strong antibiotics that are going to sting and burn. And so we're keeping a close listen on her lungs because we don't want them to flash fill up. She started a little bit more coughing, and so we want to make sure that she's doing okay.
To me.
Okay.
You're fine.
So this gentleman's had these growths on his arm for, he says, about 4 months to maybe a little longer, but however, one is just starting to have some pus come out of it, so it looks they're probably infected sebaceous cysts. This one's hard, not inflamed. That one we can probably pop out. It's causing a significant discomfort. The other one is infected and needs to be drained, and so we're not going to try and pull that one out. We're going to leave that open as a drained abscess. So I'm also going to teach the rural health workers at the same time how to drain an abscess, which this will be their learning experience. We just gave it as one of their procedures in the book that we gave them today, so it'll be a good learning experience for them to use their new skills.
So I've had the opportunity to mostly work on the construction site, working with the local people as well as our group doing the digging, the foundation for the hospital. And I would say what's touched me the most is little by little the local children have come up more and more and have spent more and more time up there with us. And it's this unabashed enthusiasm just to be there and working, and they are, the work ethic that they're exhibiting is phenomenal. It definitely gives us a boost of energy when you see these 6 and 7 and 8-year-olds pushing these wheelbarrows full of dirt that I struggle, to push. And you know that they're excited to be doing it because they have I think even at that young age, they have a sense of what an important project it is that we're working on. And it was really cool. I came back from a walk after we had cleaned up the site for the day, and there was a little boy. He had actually sketched out in the dirt with a stick and this was his office. He was playing doctor, and we came and he as we kind of tried to understand each other I have very limited Spanish skills and he didn't speak my language, but he kind of could explain that this was his office, and so he had us come knock on his pretend door and come in, and how exciting to think that he truly could, as he becomes an adult, be a doctor in this very clinic that we're working so hard to build. And I thought that was a really poignant reminder of what it is that we're doing after 4 days of backbreaking, shoveling and digging and being exhausted, but to remember why we're doing it. It's for these kids, that they can have a chance at better health care, and that they too can actually be like doctors in this clinic was, I think, the most moving experience I had today.
It's so fun to get in there with them and try to communicate, even though you don't speak a lot of Spanish, to get them to smile, to get them to try to communicate back, to learn their name, have them say your name. The name thing right there is so very accomplishing.
Okay, does everyone have the toothbrush and toothpaste? Finish? We're going to brush for a long time on both sides. Up, and down, and down. Okay, everyone. Up, start with us.
Everyone brush, tell everyone brush. Okay, very good.
It's kind of like Indiana Jones meets Mother Teresa.
I loved my job as a digger, because every morning we go to our construction sites. For whatever reason that we missed descending down, I just feel that connection with things above. I feel that mist is kind of media, and for many mornings I couldn't help but dance in the mist. I feel somehow a connection with things that are also created by God.
the things that I will never forget last year was standing there in front of these 34 teachers with Elizabeth, who is actually her name's right here, Liz. She is from Austria. Well, she's living in Austria now, and she's from Serbia originally. And we were closing up at the end of the 2-day time that we had together, and the 2 days that we had together, and I was interpreting for her, and she started to get emotional, and she was thanking them and just expressing how much she admired them for what they were going through and the difficulties and the challenges that they had. And she said, I myself, I understand what it's like to be one of these kids. I was a Serbian refugee, and I left my country with only what we could carry, and we didn't have anything on our feet, and we left. And my parents knew the importance of education, and so they sacrificed so much for me to get the absolute best education that I could. And she stood, you know, in front of them as a teacher that ¿Cómo estás? A ver. She stood in front of them as you know, someone that had 2 master's degrees, had sacrificed so much to make the most out of her life with the education that she had, and for the sacrifices that her parents had made. And to me, it was, there she was. She embodied all of the hopes and desires and everything that these teachers were fighting and sacrificing so much for, was standing right in front of them. She was a living example of everything that they themselves were sacrificing to be able to have one of their children end up like Liz. That was their dream. That was their goal. And so for me to come back here and see this school and be able to teach these students or be with the teachers and see the students and be able to see that we had some small part in being able to provide something for them to be able to continue to progress and learn and gain knowledge and grow and someday break the cycle of poverty and make an amazing contribution to their communities and to their families and to the world is just so humbling. I love these. I love this people. I love these little guys. and this is a special place for me and for so many of us, because it represents that understanding of our place in the world and a little bit of our way of being able to give back for so much that we've been given in life. And it's just so humbling, and there's so much joy that you feel that's all encompassed, all in the same feeling, joy, and at the same time such a strong motivation to continue to give back throughout life, you know. And that's really what that's what these expeditions are all about. We want each one of us to be able to go home and be able to have a stronger and renewed desire to continue to give back throughout the rest of our lives in whatever way it is, whether it's in our own neighborhood, whether it's coming to the Polochic, it doesn't matter. Just as long as we realize what we've been given and that we have so much to give and so much to learn in that process, and so much to gain from the experience of being with a people that is so loving and kind and wonderful. Let's go take some pictures.
Grazie.